Hey everyone, welcome back. So thanks for coming back. And so obviously I do not have the MPC3 um, or the Live 3. I do have the Pro Pack, but so I'm just curious of anyone out there how their what their first take is on physically holding the hardware. I can only like look at the videos and just assume, but from whatever I saw, looked extremely promising and just on all levels they've really done a you kind of take for granted how when companies start to when they release sort of a new version of itself or a product, sometimes they don't do real well. Like if you think of Native Instruments Complete Control Mark III, I know there are some people that like it, and that's cool if you do. But it to be honest, it was not. It was not as good as the Mark II. In other words, there was a regression going backwards on it. Let's put it that way. Whereas it was a clear, even though I haven't had an opportunity to use it, it was clear that there was a lot of potential in MPC Live 3. You could just see new hardware platform, way more powerful, way more sensitive pads. The MPE and the multi-sense pads. Um, the hardware, they increased the buttons, not unlike on the native on the NI Complete Control 3, where they took away buttons, where the MPC Live, which is the smallest form factor, they increased the buttons and of course increased the software functionality. So um, I just can't see where they went wrong on it too much. And then if you given Akai's history since I think it was 2019 when Air Instruments did the first four little plugins like electric and I'm talking about bassline drum synth. And then later on for the Force they had hype. They have a pretty good track record of constantly developing in more of a forward motion. So um, can't complain too much. If I could ever have them put two buttons on here, a range and clips on here. If they could do that, that would get me like 70% of the way there. But so I'll be looking at the MPCX when it gets released without question. Only way I will get a Live 3 is if they decide as a company, in a directional philosophy where they don't make keyboards anymore. In that case, I'm going to keep this baby forever, and my MPC Key 61. They will keep that forever. So, but this being able to launch your clips. Having just a basic feature like this, this is like on the Akai Force basically, is a big deal because even if you're sticking with the old hardware and you obtain the Pro Pack, because at a basic level having this kind of functionality will help you uh, construct a method for putting your songs together, and it's like the third dimension to. It was already cool to have section-based style recording, but to have that third dimension of being able to now work this into, and essentially what it is a slightly more clunkier way. So the machine has the best way of doing things as far as like scenes and so forth and so on. It's really the most elegant. It's a shame that Native Instruments didn't want this to turn into that type of video, but it's a shame that you have a company that like rules the world with sounds, and they've had a long standing history of making like expanding on their sounds. We're talking about the complete 14, 15 and all that. And they couldn't make hardware and just quite simply connect the dots and figure out what people would want the most. You know, you got people that own complete 15, 14, 13, 12, and you could make hardware that when you interface it with the software that you, in most cases, bought, then rebought, you know, through an upgrade path, and you couldn't just take contact and shove it in. Not even in the Machine Plus. So it's just a shame that it had to happen that way. But we know when we see companies in the past that have like really stronghold markets, how they can die if they don't keep things relevant and they don't give people what they want. And so I give Akai a lot of credit. I mean, for them to do what they did and how they did it. And so as I keep on talking, it's like I'm talking myself into getting a Mark III. So if you see a video and you see a MPC Live 3 on here, you know that I caved in. Oh my gosh. So anyway, so all the expansions work extremely well on here. And really all right, they all work really well on here. And so if you're going to be utilizing this particular feature here, which I know I am, you really do, having this button is not enough. Having a button like they do on the Live 3, of course, to get to it right away. As a matter of fact, to be honest, I'd rather actually have the clips button be the primary button. So right now, the clips is what they call the alt button, where you hit shift, then the clips button, or the arrange button. I'd actually rather have it the opposite way, which is clips first, then arrange instead. And that's kind of what I'm hoping for the MPC X, is to have those dedicated style buttons on there. So we've got a button for one for each as well. So, but in the meantime, I can only dream. I saw most of the people, you know, got their MPC Live 3, and so it's hard to resist trying to get one. But I'm gonna have to wait, because I know from owning an MPC Live 2, for the way I do things, and I'm actually a keyboard player first, that the horizontal surface of an MPC Live has always got to compete with whatever controller you're using. That's why I use this a lot. So if I'm going to have only one piece that's going to be in front of me with the controller underneath, it's got to be that MPCX. So we wait until, let's just say, January, February, at least for the announcement, and then I'll be like really jonesing for it. So no matter what it costs, I'm going to get one. So, and until now, I enjoy what I'm doing with what I have, and getting used to just working and conditioning myself to have that force that's inside the MPC. So until next time, everyone, peace out.